What's up you guys, it's 2Bricks and here we are with the next part of my Hogwarts Castle modular build that I've been doing for far too long now. I'm very excited to make some more progress on it and bring that to all of you guys. So today I'm going to be showing you the next section of the Grand Staircase Tower, and that is the one that has all of the moving staircases in it, and I'm very excited to show you the interior because as you can see here the exterior is rather dull. It's just a big cylinder with some windows in it. I've actually tried to be very, very faithful to this section of the tower as I have been throughout the castle, and I've paid particular attention to the way that the windows are oriented. So like you have in the actual castle this tiny row of windows right underneath this darker colored stripe, and then those windows descend down, etc., etc. So all of the places where there are gaps, like where there's no windows, empty panels, things of that sort, that is reflective of the actual build that I'm referencing, which is the main kind of central big scale model that they have over in the Leavesden Studios Harry Potter tour that they do over there, and that was used for all of the kind of a lot of the exteriors and things for the actual movie. So I've tried to really replicate that as much as I can. Of course, the really exciting part of this is on the interior, and once you see this connected to the parts that have come before, and you see the part that goes on next, then it starts to get a little bit more exciting. So yeah, I'm just kind of excited to dive in and take a look at this build and show you all the features and stuff. Designing these round tower sections has been a really, really interesting and tricky challenge, I must say. The Lego math does not lend itself to this, so I'm really proud of this. So yeah, I'm excited to get in and show you guys all the features. So let's go. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a look at the interior first, and then I'm going to take it over to my main Hogwarts display area, put it in place, and then show you guys how it all looks. And then I'll show you what the next part looks on top, because I have that part built already, and roughly, and you guys can see the kind of full effect, so it's very cool. So obviously this section here represents the staircases that move within the Grand Staircase Tower of Hogwarts, obviously. And luckily Lego gave us a set not too long ago that had a bunch of very, very useful stickers that was of this this exact location in a much smaller scale. So I was very, very happy to get my hands on that. It was one of those gift with purchase sets, and I made sure to purchase the requisite amount to get it, because that was a really crucial piece of the puzzle to kind of solving this whole area. It came with a lot of different portraits, some and you can see here there's some Easter eggs. You got C-3PO and R2-D2 in there somewhere, and there's a portrait here, this classic boat print portrait, which has been used so many times throughout Lego history that I just wanted to include that in here. Even though predominantly there are portraits of actual people, but yeah, you can see down in here just lots and lots and lots of different paintings and portraits, and that's what we're going to see in this part of the castle. The other thing, of course, is that this needs to be able to connect to the rest of the castle and keep it to that walkable standard that I set up so far. So you can see down in here there's a gap, and that gap is basically a balcony that looks down over the previous section which sits underneath here, and then the stairs that were coming up from there connect under this part right here. So students would basically enter the hole through here and then descend down into the lower levels through that gap right there, and then they can go up the staircases here, and then they can proceed up to the top levels. Now I of course had to try to replicate the moving stairs in some fashion, so I've done that here with these swiveling two sets of staircases which can be placed and positioned on either side, so you can have them both counter rotating like so. You can have them come into the middle, and then students can test their bravery and see if they can jump across the middle there, but I wouldn't recommend it. But basically the idea is that you set these either facing on either side, and then that's their kind of fixed position, and then you can change the fixed position to the other side if you want to. So the way that I was thinking about this is students could come up here and go around. They could then descend down the stairs here if they wanted to, or they could mount the staircase here and then go over to the other side, so that at some point or another each of these areas would be accessible. Now the part where this starts to fall down is there's these two little ledges right here which are inaccessible, here and here, and they don't go anywhere, and they're there just mainly to help flesh out the impression of this hole having like lots of different levels and floors like the actual room does, so that the characters could dismount at all different places and go about their adventures in the castle. So technically, these spaces are inaccessible to regular minifigures, but again, you can have the staircases come halfway over and they can jump down. So testing their bravery once again. But I was figuring, you know, there's ghosts, there's broomsticks that can take people where they need to go. So if somebody really needed to get up there for some reason and have it not just be a purely decorative space, somebody could find a way to get up there. It's not a huge issue. So yeah, this staircase down here is locked into place. It's, you know, fixed in there and it's part of the structure. And it's basically just to kick off the beginning of the stairs going up to the rest of the castle. So then we have down here the primary door. So this doorway here will lead you to the rest of the castle through that hallway. So the Great Hall is in this direction. So the way that I have basically set it up is there's that corridor that comes down and there's 2 levels. And the bottom level connects to the floor underneath here. So then the students can go into, I have the moaning metal bathroom and the tunnel that goes down to the Chamber of Secrets, etc. So that sits below here. And then the top floor of that corridor leads right into this doorway here. So it kind of brings you right into the main action. And then the other side is what leads in from the bottom. So it's accessible in 2 places, which I really like. And then when we place the top section on here, you'll see that this all connects up to the next level as well. So it will continue to be walkable from here. So yeah, that was really challenging, really challenging thing to figure out. But I think that I got it looking pretty good. So let me give you a close-up tour of some of the portraits and things on the interior of this. And I want to talk a little bit about the stickers and the elements that I used and what I recommend for your own version of this and what I did in the instructions. And yes, I did forget to mention, of course, instructions for this are available every time I do one of these updates. It means that this section of the castle is available for you to purchase instructions for. So go check out my Rebrickable page and see all the different sections of Hogwarts that I have so far, as well as many, many other custom MOCs and things. So yeah, predominantly here, I tried to use the main kind of decorative elements are the 4 Hogwarts house crests, which came in. We've got a few versions in a few different sets at this point, but I want to say these are from the large-scale Hogwarts castle microscale build, and then also the ones that came with the so these elements right here and these right here came with the recent set that I was talking about, that depicts this space. So a lot of these portraits, and I believe these ones as well, these 3 tall ones right here, came from those sets. This was the Dumbledore's office print that came in that large set, the large-scale micro Hogwarts. So confusing to say that. This is obviously from the 3 broomsticks, but I believe all of these and all of these also came from that recent staircase tower set. I have noted down in the instruction file and on the Rebrickable page kind of what sticker sheets I use, so if I do make any mistakes, hopefully they are correct in there. So this one I believe came from one of the recent book sets, those ones that are like, it looks like a book and then it unfolds into a classroom. This is also from the 3 broomsticks. This is from the UCS Cantina, the Tatooine Cantina set. I just couldn't resist putting a little Star Wars Easter egg in there. And then, of course, here we have some more of those portraits from the set that I was referring to. This came with the Jurassic Park set that had the T-Rex skeleton. I also just thought that would be a fun one to include. And this is from a very, no, maybe not very old, but a much older set that I literally peeled the sticker off and placed it in here for fun. Although that's not denoted in the instructions, that's something I did afterwards just for my own amusement. But all of these other stickers here are actually from stickered pieces as they came in the set, so you don't have to remove the stickers and apply them anywhere else. This one I actually peeled off and stuck in here, which is something I don't recommend doing because it really, really damages the stickers. So if you can help it, using stickered elements as they are is very, very helpful. So yeah, it just helps really preserve or prolong the life of your stickers. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the portraits there. I think I went around twice, so you guys really got to see all of it. And yeah, I think it gives enough of the impression of this room for it to really feel authentic to this space. Plus, I'm proud of some of the little details in here, like the little lanterns, which there are 3 of. The way that those are all just kind of integrated in there. And I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, one final note also for the exterior of this, the way that these window pieces are kind of arranged here, it's really handy because you can put something bar-sized into these, right? So it's not just a window, it's also a mounting point potentially for a character on a broom or a thestral, or I don't know, whatever flies in Harry Potter, a dragon, or what am I thinking of? Dementors, that's what I was going to say. So yeah, then I also have these external details here which serve two purposes, which is to be functional, detail for just making the bricks and the pattern of the bricks less repetitive, but also as additional places where you could potentially mount characters on their brooms, or whatever you want. So any of these tiles that you see protruding on the exterior, like there's one here, could be removed and modified to suit your own purposes. You could attach a jumper tile to this instead, so you have one single stud in the middle that you could then attach a bar to, or any of these. I just wanted to make sure that there was enough places where you could pose all of your characters. And what's cool about that is that then applies to the interior as well. So when I go ahead and pose some figures up here in a second, you'll see, like for example, on this internal stud right here, I can place a bar that would allow for a ghost to be floating above the scene, or stuff like that. So there's plenty of opportunities for nice, interesting display. And I also made sure to include enough studs on the stairs here so that the characters can be positioned on the staircases as they're moving, which of course is a fun way to have use any character that has a surprised face. They can be like losing their balance as the staircase is moving, and so you could just stud figures to either side of the stairs there, and I think that works out really well. And also these railings are just held in place by the fact that they naturally come to rest here at the top of the stairs on this plate. So you don't have to worry about setting these angles. They just hold themselves nice and how they're supposed to be. So that's really useful. So yeah, let me go ahead and pose up some figures in here, and then we'll take this over to the main castle and see how it looks. All right, so I've gone ahead and set up some minifigures in the scene here, quite a few actually. So we have here we have Harry and Draco getting into an argument in the halls, as they often do. Then moving up here, like I was saying before about having figures mounted flying on the exterior of the building, I've gone ahead and placed Tri-Wizard Tournament Harry on his broom flying around, which is really cool. So then going into the actual interior here, you can see I've really populated this scene. So we have Moaning Myrtle has floated up from her bathroom, which is down below, technically, in the layout of this castle. So she's, telling some people about her, whatever current tragedy has befallen her. I have a couple of owls up here that are chilling from having maybe just delivered some mail, and they're just waiting for their next assignment. I have a student here that is going up the stairs, and he's very excited about the moving staircases. He looks like he's a first year, so maybe he's never experienced it before. Up here I have an unfortunate run-in. Hermione has been walking down the halls with Crookshanks and run into Professor Umbridge and her Patronus, and they do not like each other. And then I just have a first year Harry back here. And I have the trio from the later movies. Look like they're coming back from a Hogsmeade visit. Coming down the stairs there, getting back to class and stuff. And then I have placed a couple of teachers down here on these balconies. So now I'm imagining these balconies are, off limits to students, but teachers have some kind of a way to access them. So I have Madam Pince over here on this side. And then down here, lastly, I have a little date that is occurring between Hagrid and Madame Maxime. They're just taking a stroll through the castle. And then Professor McGonagall is looking on approvingly, maybe? I'm not sure exactly how she's feeling about the whole situation. But there you go. One final thing that I actually did forget to mention is, well, actually, sorry, two things. One, see that Hogwarts crest right down there? So that I actually placed on the floor as not only an indication that this is a building in Hogwarts, but to act as an arrow to remind you how to orient this cylinder, because it is basically from the exterior just a cylinder, how to mount this to the rest of the castle. So the arrow points to the Great Hall, so you can just remember, as long as that is pointing to the Great Hall, you're in good shape. And then so the other thing that I forgot to mention is that I actually, in the instructions, I wound up tiling off a bunch more of this, like not fully, but enough to where you could place a lot of minifigures on kind of like off stud different axes on this kind of main floor section down here. So definitely check out the renders and stuff that I have for that in the on the rebrickable page if you are interested to see what that looks like. So yeah, that's about it as far as actually loading this thing up with figures and stuff. Of course, you could do way more. I just went ahead and tried to fill up all of the main spaces with some interesting little scenes, but you can obviously fill it to your heart's content. And then lastly, before I go ahead and put this on the castle, I swear I'm going to do that next, but I just wanted to show you guys, to give you some ideas about different things that you could place potentially in this hole. So I have quite a few of these placed already, where there's the three, or the studs on the back, and I've gone ahead and found a way to attach these to the walls, so that's already in the instructions. So if you have any more of these lying around, so this is a Lord of the Rings print, I believe, one of the dwarves from The Hobbit there. So if you wanted to adapt some more of those and actually place them in and around, there's actually plenty of available studs left that you can go ahead and place more portraits, or you could do less if you like, but also just have fun. You know, there's a few empty single studs. You could place some interesting weird prints. You could even use some of these wizard cards or maps. There are so many different stickered elements and printed elements that have come with like various portrait looking things and painting type elements throughout the Harry Potter line. Just use your imagination and go crazy. Really fill this thing up with as many portraits as you want to see in there. So that was just my note on that. Please don't feel like you have to stick to, you know, just what I have here. I definitely just used mainly what seemed convenient and what was on hand, and what would kind of give a pleasing result without having to do a bunch of specific buying of things from different sets to populate this this area. So yeah, that's just my little takeaway from that. So yeah, have fun. I can't wait to see what kind of crazy arrangements of pictures and portraits and paintings you guys have in your own layouts. All right, you guys, so here it is. The next section of Hogwarts has been added. So obviously you can kind of see there where the line of tiles from the previous section ends, and then the new part right here, the Grand Staircase Tower. That door I was mentioning before, connecting in there to the main hallway there. I'll give you a look at that in a second. Man, my blue screen is already not large enough to cover the whole castle. I cannot even imagine when this whole thing is in here how crazy it's going to get. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a kind of a clean look at the backdrop, or the castle here, without a really cluttered, detailed backdrop in there. So yeah, I'm really excited. So yeah, let me get in and show you how it looks alongside everything else. So here around the other side, you can kind of see what I was indicating before there, the doorway that goes into the rest of the castle. Obviously that is all 100% accurate in terms of, well, accurate, I mean functional in terms of being walkable, like I said, with the minifigs. So here you can see the part where part of the quad is going to attach later on. So there's no windows on this section because you just don't need them. And then around on this side, sorry, I'm blocking the light. The same thing here. This will be the other section of the quad that will come off in this direction. And then yeah, there it is. I mean, we're up to the roof line now for this section right here. You can see here there's a little dent, a little kind of divot in the design. That is on purpose, because the next section, when it comes down, will key into that little notch right there, and so that'll help to keep the next part in place. So all we have now is the Gryffindor common room, Dumbledore's office / the roof, and then the Grand Staircase Tower is complete. So very exciting time. So let me go ahead and pull in the next section to drop it on top and show you. That one is still work in progress as far as the instructions go, but I think the design is basically complete. So I'm really excited. Let's take a look. And there you go, with the Gryffindor common room attached. You can see up in here, there's a little bit of a preview in there for you for the dorms and the common room. This is going to be absolutely spectacular when it's done, and the roof section is no joke either. Dumbledore's office is a kind of a small sub build that sits in the middle of this hollow space, and then the roof kind of slots down on top of it. And it's magical. I mean, I know this is Harry Potter magical. Really, like when you see it all coming together, it's glorious. So excited to get these last two parts done to show you guys, or not to be able to give you the instructions so you can continue on your epic Hogwarts journey with me. But then also I've started to design the parts of the castle that will come in this direction. We have the viaduct bridge, starting to figure out the viaduct entrance courtway. All of this stuff that's off to this side, ultimately coming all the way down into the bell towers. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So I'm very excited to show all of you guys that stuff. It's looking kind of crazy, even if I do say so myself. So yeah, here is your look at the Grand Staircase Tower section 2 right here, and I'm gonna get to work on the next video. So thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of the purchases you guys have made, the liking, subscribing, commenting that you guys have been doing. That's all been super helpful. I absolutely love it, and I'm just really excited to keep going. So let's get to it. All right, I'll see you on the next one.